Kobe was my first game as a rookie. So my first regular season game as a rookie. So I mean, that was my welcome to the moment. I mean, welcome to the NBA moment. I remember lining up the jump ball against Andrew Bynum and looking over and seeing, you know, Kobe, and that's when it was surreal for me. That's when I realized I was really a part of the NBA. So that was my special moment for sure.
And through the game, did he talk to you at all?
No, nah, nah. You gotta somewhere earn that that respect. Cole's not just he wasn't just the friendliest guy on the court. He was actually talking to you. He had some type of respect for you. But at that point in my career, absolutely not.
It'll be the 1 year since he's passed on Tuesday. When you think of that day and what that meant a year ago, what it means to you now.
It was a tough day. I mean, when you think of Kobe Bryant, that's just not something that you feel would be a part of the story. Kobe was a guy. Kobe was almost like a superhero. It's somebody that you thought would just be here forever. And obviously that's not true, and it's unfortunate with the situation. But I was hurt just like everybody else. I grew up watching Kobe Bryant. It Emotional day. I mean, there's really no other way of putting it. It was a tough pill to swallow. It hit the NBA world, very hard, and I can only imagine what his family and friends went through.
Or preseason game, but the very first time you played against him on the court, what do you remember from that night?
The very first time in the NBA, I don't remember. I remember, I think it was either my first year or my second year. We were playing in New Orleans, and I think it was a team with Kobe, Dwight, and everything. And it's the year that I think Kobe, actually against us, he tore something in his right shoulder. I want to say his labrum or something. And he was holding the shoulder after he drove to the basket. I'm like, man, something wrong with the shoulder. And I was on the bench, and timeout, and he comes back into the game. I'm like, man, he's tough. He's still going to continue to play. And he comes down the very next play. They throw the ball to him in the post, and I think Dante Cunningham is guarding him. And he takes 2 dribbles, and does a shimmy and shoot the ball left-handed, and it goes in. And I just kind of stared at him down the court and looked at the bench, and I was just amazed that a guy who is right-handed just comes in and say, okay, I'm just going to shoot left-handed and play left-handed. So that's one of my earliest memories in the league of Kobe.
Do you remember him saying anything to you, or were you too scared to say anything to him?
No, I didn't say anything. I was on the bench, and so the game kept going on, but I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything to him. I was just amazed that he would attempt a shot.
I always tell the story. I got a switch on Kobe. He was posting me up. I blocked his shot, and the ball bounced the half court, and I went running after it full speed. He got the ball back and shot a 3, and he said, "The play continues, young fella." And that was my first moment I really remember, and it was a big moment for me because I could brag to my friends that I blocked Kobe Bryant's shot.
What do you remember about just the idea that you were on the court with this guy that you had been watching and his presence?
We know how much he meant to the game of basketball, how much he affected people with just his competitive drive, his hungriness of having a mindset of nothing can stop him from being what he wanted to be. He was a Black Mamba. And just what he stood for as a man. He gave everything he had to the game of basketball while he was here on this earth and while he was competing for 20 years. And outside of that, you love how he became a dad. I mean, what he was doing with his kids and being there for them and coaching them and still always being a mentor to a lot of people that looked up to him. So everything you can see about that man was what you would want to see in yourself later down the road. And the way he loved his kids and loved his wife and stuff like that is something that I look up to and try to do the same.
Thanks, John.
Mark Berman.
John, along those lines, on Tuesday, it'll be 1 year since Kobe passed away. Your thoughts about when you heard about it, and how does that hit you now that it's been a year later?
It was surreal. I didn't believe it when I first seen the news and read about it, and it was tough. And I mean, the most important thing is that people still is always going to cherish Kobe and keep his name alive. And we know what he meant to the game of basketball and what he meant outside the game of basketball. And we get the opportunity to play on that same day, so that's going to be big for us, and definitely big for the whole entire league. I mean, we knew what Kobe meant, and a 1 year anniversary is always.
And your willingness to talk a little bit about some of this stuff. You guys talk about Kobe. You do it when you break huddles. You did it last year when you wore the Mamba jerseys. You guys have celebrated him in the year. How did that help the grieving process, and why is it important to continue to do that as a team?
I mean, it's a saying that says time heals all, you know, and as devastating and as tragic as it was and still is to all of us involved with it, you know, only time, you know, and it takes time. Everyone has their own grieving process. Everyone understands how, you know, everyone individually is different, and everyone is going to, you know, grieve differently, and how long it takes them to come to grips with it, that's up to them and that individual. You know, all you can do as a friend or a loved one or anyone, you know, in our brotherhood and our familyhood that we have here with the Lakers organization is to put an arm around someone when they need it. So, you know, us being able to remember him and, you know, wear the jerseys during the postseason, have the postseason success we had, like as you guys saw with those uniforms, or, you know, we got a lot of guys that wear shoes still to this day, obviously. You know, I'm able to wear the 2-4 on my finger every night. And then when we play in Staples Center, you see that 8 and 2-4 in the rafters, and be able to just live his legacy on. You know, it's a lot of things that die in this world, but legends never die. And
it's still so hard for me to talk about because it's still very raw. And it's raw for a lot of other people. And I know I'm not the only person feeling like this, because it's just, you know, every single day it's just thinking about him. But
That's what I'm trying to ask about good things, like your first
yeah,
game.
yeah, no, definitely. Just doesn't mean I'm not struggling with it still. It's all good. You know, I'm still just taking it day by day. But the first game I played against Kobe, you know, I wasn't really thinking too much. I was a rookie. He was coming off of an unbelievable tear of 40-point games. You know, I think he sprained his wrist a few times, but he had, I think, 2 40-point games the game before. So when he came out in our game, I just saw and witnessed somebody just manipulate the whole entire game just based off of his greatness. He was just taking great shots and just giving incredible effort. And he was with Mike Brown at the time, ironically. And, you know, I know that they were dealing with things their season of figuring things out. So I know Kobe was just like, you know, how in typical Kobe fashion, just what's going on, but I'm really like, you know, and we love him for it. And he was just incredible, the Black Mamba. But I remember most just watching somebody that I literally grew up watching on YouTube and watching all of his videos, watching all of his highlights, consuming all the things that he was doing just to be great. And he was just maniacal about the game. And I became like that. And now I'm just finding my balance in that as well. And with Kobe, he was definitely an incredible mentor, still is, you know, and he left a lot with me. And now it's my job to pass it on to others. So I'm happy you asked that, because, you know, I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Did he say anything to you that night?
No. He said something the second time we played.
I think the thing that stood out to me the first time I played against Kobe, I think I've told this story before, but when I came into the NBA, I was starstruck by 2 guys. And one was Kobe and the other one was Grant Hill. I grew up in Michigan watching Grant Hill play with the Pistons with turquoise and maroon jerseys, teal, whatever it was. And Grant Hill was amazing. And so I was starstruck by Grant Hill and Kobe. I think the thing that stood out most to me about playing Kobe that first time was his pregame warm-up. I finished my pregame warm-up early. And, you know, as a rookie, you get there like 3:30, 3:45 for a 7:30 game. As soon as I finished my warm-up, he was coming on the floor, which was, number one, was kind of threw me off. Like, why is he working out at 4 o'clock and it's a 7:30 game? But I sat there and I watched his entire workout. I ended up realizing why he worked out so long. He worked out for like 40 minutes. And I sat there and watched the entire workout. By the time I finished watching his workout, I had like missed my lift, my treatment time. You know, as a young guy, you get the early slots, and once you miss it, it's over. I had missed everything, and I think for me personally, that was just a moment like in my life where it was like, yo, like I'm sitting here watching Kobe. Nothing else really mattered to me at that point.
Was it worth missing all the stuff you missed?
100%. Nothing can replace that moment for me. It was great. And then, obviously playing against him that first time, you kind of just see that killer instinct. Like he's just coming out there trying to destroy everybody. And obviously my rookie year was 2012. So, Kobe at that point, like 1 year removed from winning a championship, like he's still Kobe. And so it was great.
I think I'm a pretty, physical defender and all that stuff. And I'm a young pup. And I could tell you he beat the living shit out of me without even having the ball. That is just how he played the game. And he was way more physical on offense than defense. And that was his thing. He would beat you up before he even got the ball. He was going to get to the spot. He was going to throw elbows. He was going to push you off. He was going to get to where you need to and run through you however it took. And the referees just was like, I don't see nothing. But that was just his game. And, it'll never be another guy like that.
Did he say anything to you on the court that you remember?
Yeah, he called me young boy. And anybody from Philadelphia who know that, he said young boy, it was like, you know who I am? And that's as simple as that.
Thank you.
Going to go next to Michael Grange from Sportsnet.
Hey, Kyle. Since Rachel brought it up, what do you think Kobe's example means to? You had the fortune of playing against him, but what do you think his example as a person, business person, athlete, parent, has meant? And obviously, it's kind of resonating because he's passed away. But what do you think it means to the NBA now and players coming up?
No, I think who he was, kind of the Mamba mentality, right? Everyone, that's something that is now like a thing. Like it's been a thing for a while. The way he approached the game of basketball, the way he approached, life in general, right? He's seen as he's gotten older, he got more just involved in things and kind of being more open. His daughters got older, his family got, grew more, and he started to be a little bit more like just, understand that he's Kobe Bryant and everyone's looking at him, right? As younger years, and all he was focused on was being him, being the best basketball player he could be. And that's why he got to that point where he was one of the greatest to ever play the basketball game. But then as he got older, his family grew, his daughters got older. He kind of opened up. He saw the lighter side of Kobe, right? And then on the business aspect of who he was as an individual, he put himself, he involved himself into things that he believed in, his drinks and his shoes and everything that he kind of created and wanted to be a part of. And that was the biggest thing for, I think that's what people see, right? And think about it, right? Everybody wears low tops. And I remember when Kobe first started wearing, he was like the first guy to start doing it. And everybody's like, and it's something that he just kind of put into the universe, like, listen, this is how we do it with soccer and this and that. And the footballers over there in Europe, those guys wear low tops. So, just everything he kind of did throughout his career, basketball, business, it was all just to kind of help the future.
Do you think, if you don't mind me following up, is it that maybe that seriousness that playing in the league, not that, look, I mean, most guys understand the privilege of it, but do you think to have the best player, one of the best players of his generation, approach everything as seriously as he did, that's a pretty powerful example for guys to come up under.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. He basically was like, I'm gonna be the best basketball player I can be, no matter what. I'll worry about the other things secondhand. But right now, all I care about is being the best basketball player I can be. And his brand got built through basketball. Right.
I'm grateful to Vanessa and the Bryant family for the opportunity to speak today. I'm grateful to be here to honor Gigi and celebrate the gift that Kobe gave us all. What he accomplished as a basketball player, as a businessman and a storyteller, and as a father. In the game of basketball, in life, as a parent, Kobe left nothing in the tank. He left it all on the floor. Maybe it surprised people that Kobe and I were very close friends, but we were very close friends. Kobe was my dear friend. He was like a little brother. Everyone always wanted to talk about the comparisons between he and I. I just wanted to talk about Kobe. You know, all of us have brothers and sisters, little brothers, little sisters who, for whatever reason, always tend to get in your stuff, your closet, your shoes, everything. It was a nuisance, if I can say that word. But that nuisance turned into love over a period of time, just because the admiration that they had for you as big brothers or big sisters. The questions, the wanting to know every little detail about life that they were about to embark on. He used to call me, text me, 11:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, talking about post-up moves, footwork, and sometimes the triangle. At first, it was an aggravation. But then it turned into a certain passion. This kid had passion like you would never know. And it's an amazing thing about passion. If you love something, if you have a strong passion for something, you would go to the extreme to try to understand or try to get it. Either ice cream, Cokes, hamburgers, whatever you have a love for. If you have to walk, you would go get it. If you have to beg someone, you would go get it. What Kobe Bryant was to me was the inspiration that someone truly cared about the way I played the game or the way that he wanted to play the game. He wanted to be the best basketball player that he could be. And as I got to know him, I wanted to be the best big brother that I could be. To do that, you had to put up with the aggravation, the late night calls, or the dumb questions. I took great pride as I got to know Kobe Bryant that he was just trying to be a better person, a better basketball player. We talked about business. We talked about family. We talked about everything. And he was just trying to be a better person. Now he's got me. I'll have to look at another crime meme for the next. I told my wife I wasn't going to do this because I didn't want to see that for the next 3 or 4 years. That is what Kobe Bryant does to me. I'm pretty sure Vanessa and his friends all can say the same thing. He knows how to get to you in a way that affects you personally, even though if he's being a pain in the ass. But you ever have a sense of love for him in the way that he can bring out the best in you. And he did that for me. I remember maybe a couple of months ago, he sends me a text. And he's saying, I'm trying to teach my daughter some moves. And I don't know what I was thinking or what I was working on. But what were you thinking about when you were as you were growing up, trying to work on your moves? I said, what age? He says, 12. I said, 12, I was trying to play baseball. He sends me a text back saying, laughing my ass off. And this was at 2 o'clock in the morning. But the thing about him was we could talk about anything that related to basketball, but we can talk about anything that related to life. And we, as we grow up in life, rarely have friends that we can have conversations like that. Well, it's even rare when you can grow up against adversaries and have conversations like that. I went and saw Phil Jackson in 1999 or maybe 2000. I don't know when Phil was here in LA. And I walk in and Kobe's sitting there. And the first thing, I'm in a suit. First thing Kobe said, did you bring your shoes? No, I wasn't thinking about playing. But his attitude to compete and play against someone he felt like he could enhance and improve his game with. To me, that's what I loved about the kid. Absolutely loved about the kid. No matter where he saw me, it was a challenge. And I admired him because his passion, you rarely see someone who's looking and trying to improve each and every day, not just in sports, but as a parent, as a husband. I am inspired by what he's done and what he shared with Vanessa and what he's shared with his kids. I have a daughter who's 30 who just became a grandparent. And I have 2 twins. I have twins at 6. I can't wait to get home to become a girl dad and to hug them and to see the love and the smiles that they bring to us as parents. He taught me that just by looking at this tonight, looking at how he responded and reacted with the people that he actually loved. These are the things that we will continue to learn from Kobe Bryant. To Vanessa, Natalia, Bianca, Capri, my wife and I will keep you close in our hearts and our prayers. We will always be here for you, always. I also want to offer our condolences and support to all the families affected by this enormous tragedy. Kobe gave every last ounce of himself to whatever he was doing. After basketball, he showed a creative side to himself that I didn't think any of us knew he had. In retirement, he seemed so happy. He found new passions, and he continued to give back as a coach in his community. More importantly, he was an amazing dad, amazing husband, who dedicated himself to his family and who loved his daughters with all his heart. Kobe never left anything on the court. And I think that's what he would want for us to do. No one knows how much time we have. That's why we must live in the moment. We must enjoy the moment. We must reach and see and spend as much time as we can with our families and friends and the people that we absolutely love. To live in the moment means to enjoy each and every one that we come in contact with. When Kobe Bryant died, a piece of me died. And as I look in this arena and across the globe, a piece of you died, or else you wouldn't be here. Those are the memories that we have to live with and we learn from. I promise you, from this day forward, I will live with the memories of knowing that little brother that I tried to help in every way I could. Please rest in peace, little brother.